Okay, so the next is legacy content syndication practices. Basically, content syndication became really popular and burst on the screen onto the scene in the early 2000s, 2004 and through 2016, 2018 was super popular. It corresponded with the marketing methodology of the waterfall. And so essentially the idea was in tech marketing, you just load up the top of the waterfall with leads, as many leads as possible, and you work them in stages as they filter through your waterfall or your sales process. And so there was kind of folks didn't necessarily look as closely at the quality of each lead per lead. As long as about 85% of them were accurate and got them where they need to be, they were happy. So those practices are still in place today, even though marketing and lead generation and tech marketing targeting has changed dramatically. It's not this linear path anymore from top to bottom. There's dark social. There's people coming in at all different times to buy without ever even talking to sales folks anymore. So a lot has changed, and the lead gen needs to change with that. And then finally, we've all experienced very recently an explosion of new content driven by AI, Chat GPT, and what have you. Everybody, myself included, I use this daily, and it definitely accounts for just content like we've never seen. And so marketers, brand marketers, lead gen, demand content marketers are all having difficulty standing out. Whereas their content is high value, there's just so much out there, so many more distractions that, again, they need guidance. They need a way to be able to promote and distribute their content to their ICP, to their audience effectively, because those old practices just aren't effective anymore. So in terms of online fraud, how we're looking to combat, and how we do combat this now is, so the way things were done, or how most leads are generated now, is through display ads, through programmatic display ads. So anywhere from 75 to 100% of a lead gen budget every quarter is poured into online ads, Google being the king of it all. So literally, you either get an agency or you do yourself. And I don't know the ton of the behind the scenes, but essentially they are bidding on serving your ads to the places where your audience goes to research solutions that they might want to buy. So the idea is that by placing these ads, they're warming up your audience, they're getting them familiar with your brand. But the problem is that now, with 50% or more of all web traffic being bot related, with 25% of these ads being served to disparate websites that have nothing to do with your audience, to kind of not good websites that you would never want to associate with your brand, and fake websites that are just there only to be served these ads so they can collect money. So what we do, our methodology here is we take a direct to ICP content promotion strategy. So what that means, it's a fancy way of saying we bypass the idea of driving bot traffic or placing ads or depending upon the internet to drive traffic and drive interest to our brands. Instead, we're engaging their ICP directly on their behalf. So we have strategic content promotion strategies or channels that we put in place so that instead of trying to hope that my client's content shows up on a website where their audience does some research, we're just leveraging direct to their audience. So there's no chance of bots interacting with this. What else? So, and importantly, in the process itself, the way that we promote content via email, via live phone calls, is to build landing pages around each content piece. So we're summarizing the content, we're asking for their contact details, we're asking them a few questions. We're giving them the opportunity to opt in. And so all of these functions need to take place before they can access the actual content. So we've added capture mechanisms as well, so that before they can hit download, they actually have to, prove that they're a human being. We've all done these capture mechanisms. It has ruled out any bot traffic 100% from the campaigns that we've instituted these on. So it's a huge kind of lever that we're pulling to combat rampant bot traffic and online ad fraud. The second here is ineffective lead nurture strategy. So the only way that leads can perform well for you and become opportunities to sell and become new clients is once we deliver them to you is if they're worked correctly. So what that means, the leads that we provide are education level leads. What that means is that these folks are downloading content to learn more about the brand solutions, the brand itself, who else has worked with the brand, successful stories about the brand. They're just learning at this stage. So if that lead is then, let's say, called by a sales rep after they've downloaded a single piece of content about a solution, chances are they're going to have a real bad taste in their mouth about that brand. They're not going to convert to an opportunity. They're not going to want to work with them. So it's very important that the leads are nurtured correctly. And through the hundreds and hundreds of campaigns that we've completed successfully, we have seen what works. We have seen what to stay away from. So it's very important. And we insist on imparting best practices per lead nurture, the best cadences, how to leverage these strategies effectively. It's very simple, but it's something that we insist on. And it's paying definite dividends through our campaigns. So I've touched on this problem. This challenge is the legacy way of doing business. So again, the old way was you're a company, you're a brand, you generate content, you would contact a content syndication partner who had access to a number of publisher websites where, again, they would convince you that your audience is going to research solutions that they may buy. So what they would do is they would host your content onto these publisher websites and would build custom content hubs. So custom websites where they would host all of your content. And the idea is then to pay to drive traffic to these specific sites. These are usually these are places you wouldn't go to research, let's say a new CRM solution or a new HRIS solution, what have you. That was the old way of doing business. A lot of vendors still practice this today. Again, our methodology is completely different. We don't host content. We don't trust driving traffic. We don't trust any of that. We go directly to the ICP with quality promotion, quality distribution. And then finally, with so much content, as I mentioned, flooding the airwaves, there needs to be a lot more help and guidance. There needs to be experts to help brands, marketers at these tech brands, to have their content stand apart, to actually make it stand out to the folks that they want to download it. So again, we've leveraged that experience with the hundreds of campaigns we've completed successfully. The way that we're able to target effectively to kind of bypass the noise, number one is we leverage purchase intent data. So we'll build your audience, your ideal customer profile. When I say ICP is your audience, who you're trying to sell to. It could be specific companies. It could be specific industries, company sizes, job titles at specific companies, geographic regions, what have you. We combine all of those filters to create your audience, but then we take it a few steps further. We're able to leverage purchase intent data. So we're able to find those members of your audience who have been most active researching your types of solutions. Have they been attending webinars around them? Have they downloaded white papers? Have they commented about them on Twitter? On LinkedIn? Have they followed certain people that talk about these things a lot? All of these activities are added up until we find the most active down to the least active. And then we prioritize promoting your content to the most active members of your audience first, all the way down to the least. So it's not this spray and pray type of methodology. It's a data-driven, very exact process. So that's a way that we help our clients to stand out and kind of push away all the nonsense content that may be vying for their audience's attention as well. And so, our process is unlike any other. And very quickly, I'll go through it here. So the first step for us is we want to identify, as I just mentioned, the optimized audience for us to target your content to. So we layer the content data, the purchase intent data over this to find the most active. Next, we're actually strategically placing programmatic ads to this optimized audience. So it's not a cold audience. It's those folks that have shown the most intent in the last 90 days and may be interested and may be most likely to click on one of these display ads. Those folks that did click on and may have gone away, we then retarget these folks as well because they have shown some interest. they've clicked on an ad, maybe they click through to the website, what have you. We're retargeting these folks with messages to bring them in. At the end of the day, we now have arrived at an audience that has been purchase intent optimized, has been shown display ads about your brand, about your solutions. Certain members have clicked on these ads, and those then are the folks that we're then promoting your content to directly via email or phone. So it's not this random audience. It's not a spray and pray methodology. It's not hosted to weird websites where we're driving traffic to. It is an optimized, intent-driven, data-verified, direct approach. So your content absolutely reaches who it needs to reach when it has to reach them. And we've proven it. Our conversions double what the old methodology has typically churned out. The ROI on the campaigns that we have positioned for our campaigns in the last 15 months have been double what they usually experience. Not all of them. I'm not going to say it's a panacea, but we've hit ROI marks that they haven't seen before. And then finally, as I mentioned, we verify the data before we send it to the client. So once we get the lead information in, we've talked to the lead individually through email or through phone. We're able to verify they're not a bot. They've passed the capture mechanisms. So we can stand confident rather, that we're only delivering humans, qualified leads. As I mentioned, real leads, verified engagements. I'm a little nervous. And that's it. So we deliver those leads on a weekly basis. That's kind of how I wrap it up. I don't know. This is the first time I pitched this, so bear with me a little bit. Or this specific deck.
Great job. Very professional too.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And any questions? Let's open it up.
Yeah, that was really good. But just a question regarding, more of a statement that it seems that you have you're a maverick. You've revolutionized in a way the way the leads are being generated compared to how they were generated 20 years ago with content syndication methods as used back then. A lot of fraud, as you say, a lot of bot traffic, etc. So you've completely bypassed that, overcome the problem, which obviously is going to produce better results for clients and more advocacy for you.
I like to think so. And we boil it all under one cost per lead. So it's a single cost. There's nothing on top of it. You can budget for it. You know exactly how many leads you're going to get each week, each month, each quarter. So it's easy to plan for.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a question I have, and then I'll throw it open to the other people here. But when it comes to you're saying, okay, you specialize in B2B tech, all right? Does that mean it only works for B2B tech, or could other verticals, other industries be able to use this method as well?
Yeah, good question. Anyone that uses content to reinforce their brand, to attract new customers, to put the word out about solutions, we can help. So yeah, it's definitely not just B2B tech. It's just B2B tech leverages that methodology. They're very content heavy and have always been. So it's just a natural fit for that industry. But yeah, we work outside of tech. We're working with Siemens actually, so a big global manufacturer. So it can be around the horn.
Yeah, you're right about B2B tech. They are very content heavy. They're crazy on case studies and all sorts of things like that. So I can see the sense of that. Okay, any questions other than the one that I just posed?
Zara, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Eric. Thank you very much for that presentation. I had a question around your ICP, so your ideal client. When you go to target them, do you generally just focus on websites, or have you considered YouTube? Because a lot of people go around looking for solutions on YouTube sometimes. And I'm just wondering if that's an area that you've also explored, and what's your experience of it?
So I can answer that a couple ways. In terms of our clients' content, we definitely push YouTube. We have found, and I actually mentioned this with Kim and Avon the other day, sub 15-second videos have done really, really well. Quick explainer videos for the types of content that our brands push and for their audience, that has worked really well at the high level, at this education level. So yeah, quick videos we love, but we'll support any type of content, videos, animation. I mean, obviously digital, you name it, webinars, podcasts. If it's a piece of content, whether live or on demand, we can promote it and distribute it properly.
So it's that initial hook where people just put an advert out and then they get you to click on a landing page to say, come to my seminar or workshop, and then that kind of hooks the customer in. Is that right?
That's correct. So
You're the first frontline bit where it's that sort of 1 minute, 60-second ad, or maybe tops 2 minutes. Yeah, that's your
we're trying
specialty.
to
Yeah.
We're trying to. So there's a couple ways. We first would target you with display ads. So basically, these are click on ads where you're searching online, and we part Google, Amazon, AWS, some of the biggest networks. So we're serving ads there. If you click on that ad about a new CRM solution you might be interested in, you're then put into a new pool for us. And then because you're more highly qualified, you've clicked on this ad, you've shown some interest. We're then going to begin emailing you a promotion about the specific type of content you can access. If you're interested in accessing it, there's a link in that email. It brings you to the landing page, which you then have to complete. You have to opt in. We won't deal with anybody that hasn't opted in. And we also ask on the landing page 4 qualifying questions. So these are completely custom questions that come from the customer. So they'll want to ask you, how soon are you looking to make a purchase? What's your budget? Who made the last decision? What would make you make a change? So we'll dig deep on those questions as well. And the answers to those questions really fuel the personalized nurture cadences that I had mentioned. So it really sets even the engagement after the lead is delivered apart from the rest.
Okay, so then you know who to target, like what product to, and where their budget is.
Exactly.
Okay,
How they've answered the question. They've told you what they like. They told you what they don't like about their solution. They told you their timeline. So you can then craft really compelling personalized emails to keep them going down your pipeline and eventually to a meeting with the sales rep.
So one other question, if I may, and can I, Kim, or do you want to pass it on to someone else? Because I want
No,
everyone.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So another question I have is regarding GDPR. We got GDPR
Yes.
UK, GDPR Europe,
Great
and
question.
I find it's a major headache just looking on emails. So how do you guys deal with it, and how do you separate like who's where? Because it's a nightmare, isn't it?
Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Norway, Luxembourg. There's about 6 or 7 double opt-in countries. So in those cases, we run what's called multi-touch campaigns. So these folks have to engage 2 landing pages and opt in twice and download 2 pieces of content within 24 hours to be able to then legally be marketed to by our brands. So it's a tough campaign to fulfill, but we get it done.
I'd love to interview you on this topic later. I don't know if we can or not, if I have your permission.
No, absolutely. Yeah,
I think it's a massive topic and lots of companies are failing on it. And legally, we need to make sure we're protected. So thank you for that.
If you get caught up in GDPR, the fines can cripple
I know.
your
I know. That's why I'm on hold. One of the biggest reasons I'm on hold is this. So
big
it's
deal.
fine.
I'm happy to talk. Yeah, we'll connect on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Thank you. I've put my thing under that funny headscarfy thing you can see. All right, cool. Thank you very much.
Hear about these crazy regulators. Oh, I think they're crazy in Europe. Where's she gone? Oh, down the bottom. Yeah. The question I've often asked is, okay, so they've brought in these sort of draconian regulations. What are the tangible benefits that consumers are getting from this? All this cost, how are consumers better off? They're not.
No, it's just another way of making money and shut you down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that fine that they have, just waiting to make money wherever they can. So, make life challenging.
Yeah. Let me turn off the recording and then we'll just continue on with questions.
Hey, Eric, where are you having the greatest success? Any particular industry, or where are you seeing your best results?
It fluctuates, but right now, cybersecurity for the last probably maybe 24 months has been crazy. I mean, from 20 to 22, when everyone was getting money, I mean, we had a new cybersecurity software company, I would say weekly, looking for campaigns. It was crazy. That slowed down a little bit. Backup is really big. Endpoint security is really big. I guess that fits into cyber. But online payments is a really big one. So if you think of companies like Rapid, RAPYD, ACI Worldwide, you probably haven't heard of these folks, but for some reason, we've talked to probably 30 different online payments companies in the last year. So that's a really hot market for some reason. And then warehouse technology has been really robotics, auto picking, and even it gets into e-com, as I'm sure Azim knows, in terms of the software available now for warehouses. It's kind of crazy. So and that's how we got into Siemens, which is not the typical type of customer that we would work with.